everybody. Welcome to Real Talk Fins Talk. I'm your guest host, Steve Malloy, and joining me tonight will be Rob Mosley. But first, I would like to send prayers up to Damar Hamlin, who was injured in the Buffalo-Cincinnati games last night. And I also like to give kudos to the first responders that reacted quickly to attend him. So prayers up to Damar Hamlin. Rob, how you doing tonight?
I would like to also extend my prayers and thoughts to Damar Hamlin and his family and Buffalo Bills Mafia. But outside of that, it just those moments teach you sometimes that, it's football because we all take it so serious, especially on this network and my network. Like, it's all so important. But moments like that teach you, it's still a game at the end of the night. And human life, we put these guys higher than life sometimes. And, you realize they're human when stuff like this happens.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
Definitely thoughts there. But anyway, thank you as always. Yes, and Dolphin Thirsty, come get some trivia questions, keep updated on the Dolphins. We always have the coaches' thoughts and articles like that. So thank you, Steve. So how's it where you are? I think you're coming from Virginia today?
Yeah, I'm here in Richmond, Virginia. I'm visiting my daughter and her family, and my grandson. We're celebrating his second birthday this week. In fact, I got the little guy coming out here now. I'll introduce you to him. He's a big Doll fan too.
Oh, okay. You're raising him right.
Here he is.
Oh, I like that. Oh, look at that hat, man. Look at that hat, man. I like his hat.
Say hi.
Oh, you're rocking it too with the newer logo. Like you got the same look.
Hey, listen to this, Rob. Say Dolphins number 1. Say Dolphins number 1. He's whispering it. He's saying Dolphins number 1.
Exactly. Hey, I take it. All right, I heard him. There you go. Dolphins number 1. Yeah.
Say bye. Say bye.
Bye.
Anyway, welcome, guys. Welcome, Cap.
See you later, buddy. Bye.
That was cool,
All
man.
All right. So, hey, listen, everybody. I want to thank you for joining the show tonight. Please hit that like button, subscribe, share with your friends, your family, your neighbors. Cat for life. I see you, John, Gerald, Master Sergeant. I see you there. Thanks again for joining. Rob, what do you got going on at DolphinThirsty.com this week?
Oh, just always everything Dolphins. Trivia as always. Dolphins content, and of course, I would like to say there's a lot better news with the Dolphins. That I'm writing great articles about how they're on a great winning streak, but unfortunately, the past 5 weeks has been nothing but negative news coming with our Fins. So let's hope we change that this week and we beat the Jets and at least end on a high note.
Absolutely. I'm with you on that. But unfortunately, we're at the point now in the season. Just what we started out so we were living high off the hog. We were 8-3. We had the world by the hands as far as we were in the first seed. We were first in our division. We were talking Super Bowl.
Yeah.
We were talking Super Bowl, and then all of a sudden we just collapsed.
No.
So, Rob, I want to ask you a question. Do you think this was the worst collapse in Dolphin history, or do you think it was the 1993?
I should say 1993 because we have a chance to avoid 1993. Because if we win against the Jets on Sunday, we can still get into the playoffs with a little bit of help, and we will end the losing team. Because 1993 will always be, but there's a lot of similarities between the seasons. I wrote a little article on Dolphin Thirsty about the similarities. It's just weird, because we went down to backup quarterbacks at times during the season.
Yeah.
We lost some of the same games. We split with some of the same teams. But if we lose, because we lost both games that year to the Jets. So if we lose both game years to the Jets, but we split with New England and we split with Buffalo that year. So it's just really eerie, some of the similarities. And both of the backup quarterbacks that we made depend on we're number 19 because Scott Mitchell was number 19.
That's right.
And then of course our guy this year that it looks like Skylar Thompson, he's going to be the guy, and he's number 19. We also used Steve DeBerg. That year was really a mess. And we've also used Teddy Bridgewater. So we've also used like 3 quarterbacks this year. But I say we can avoid, if this one we lose, then yes, And anyway, real quick, I want to say, hey Vito, you're a great follow on Twitter, man. I love your Twitter feed. So make sure you guys follow him on. You can shoot your Twitter feed up there, Vito. You're the best on there on Twitter to follow. Great Dolphin fan to follow. Like me, he lives in the area, so it's really cool. But anyway, so I think we can avoid that distinction if with a simple win. If we lose, yes, then it's in the same conversation as the biggest collapse in Dolphins history. But a win, we can avoid that and not be mentioned in the same breath as 1993. So,
right.
You
know, so let's talk a little bit about the Patriots game. Teddy Bridgewater started the game, and deja vu, he gets hurt, although it wasn't the first play of the game. And Skylar Thompson comes in. Now, in my opinion, I thought Teddy Bridgewater was holding the fort. I thought he was game managing pretty well, making some good passes, and then he got that pick six. But I think he was even a little mobile back there and made a couple good runs there. And you know, I don't know if Teddy stayed in the game, could we have won that game? It's a good question. Who knows? But anyway, so Skylar Thompson comes in, and again, Skylar Thompson is looked ill prepared, and that's one thing that I really have against the Mike McDaniel. As I've said in the past, you know my opinion. I like the guy. I think he's a good coach as far as designing and creating offenses for our particular quarterback, especially. And there's actually two or three things I don't like about him. Number one, he lacks the discipline, in my opinion. I didn't like any of that clowning around in the beginning of the year. I just had a bad feeling about that, you know. And during the OTAs and the summer practices, I didn't go for that quirkiness and that clowning around and all that. I just didn't. So that's one thing that I had against him. Number two, the guy, although he did adjust for the Patriots game, he did throw some shorter passes to the running backs. I know Mostert caught 8 passes, Mostert, I mean, and he spread the ball around. Both him and Teddy spread the ball around. So Mike McDaniel did make the adjustments, but to tell you the truth, we needed to run that ball even more so. I think we had over 40 passes thrown. I would have liked to seen that number down to about 30 and run the ball about 25, 30, 40 times. 35 times.
I know. I agree. You've been pounding the table for more runs all season, so I give you that.
All season, and the guy just doesn't do it, man. He doesn't do it. He's outsmarting himself. I just don't understand it. But I think that if we run the ball more, and I said this in the beginning of the year as well. I said if we don't start running the ball in December, right? We have to run the ball in December when it's
December's long gone and we didn't even get a victory. And now in January,
I got it. And I'm very disappointed. You know, and he didn't do it. And you think he would have learned his lesson by now. Your thoughts on that?
Well, I agree with you on some, but like I said, if we knew we've seen this rodeo before. First year coach is going to come in and has his bumps and bruises along the way. So we're living with the rookies coach bumps and bruises. So, you know, I think overall he's done okay. I like the game plan for the most part. Yes, maybe we get pass happy, but when you got, you know, Waddle and Hill, it's hard not to want to use those weapons, you know. So I understand where he's coming from, because you're just like, oh my God, I got these guys, I got to get them the ball. So I do get, you know, let's see what he says. I think a lot of these games we pulled away from what turned out to be our strong point, the run. Yes, Vito, you're 100% right.
100%.
Follow you on Twitter, bro. But anyway, yes, I agree. But I can see why, too, his line of thinking, because you're paying, you know, Hill $1 bazillion. They got Waddle on the cheap because he's just a recent first-round pick. So he's just, you know, going into his second year. But, you got those weapons you get, like back in the day, you want to use Duper and Clayton. So you want to use, I can see why he gets hungry on those stars and he wants to feed those guys. So I get it. But like you say, ultimately it comes down to winning football games, and you got to sometimes go away from what, might maybe what you want to do and do what you have to do and run the football and establish the ball. But the thing is, the past couple of games, you've done better on that time of possession, and we still come out on the losing side, which is a bad thing. So
yeah,
it's like,
But going back to the ill-prepared Skylar Thompson, and I wanted to make mention of that too. It seems like, look, we all know that this offense is devised, designed, and created for the starting quarterback Tua. And that's a good thing, and it's a bad thing, and this is a bad thing in this case. And I'm afraid to say that if we bring back Tua next year, because we don't even know what the status of him is yet with this concussion protocol, and if what his decision is, or what the organization's decision is for that matter. I would be lying to you all if I told you I knew what's going to happen.
Yeah,
I don't.
none of us do.
We all don't. We all don't. So, but what's going to happen, I'm afraid, is if Tua stays, and we know his injury history, we know he's going to get hurt. We know this. 3 years already, he's been hurt 3 or 4 times. This has all started in college, okay?
Right.
And it's carried over into the pros. And what we're going to have to go out and do is because Teddy Bridgewater won't be here next year.
Right.
Okay. Teddy Bridgewater won't be here.
No, you need a quarterback that complement. If you're your plan, you need a quarterback that complements his game. That if he gets hurt, you got a guy that knows how to do the same things that Tua does. And because that's what the 49ers do. They went, of course, their rookie quarterback or second year quarterback, whatever, he got injured. So you can't say it's all on him. But once Jimmy G to Brock Purdy, they're basically the same type. So they complement each other. They can basically run the same offense without ruining. We don't have that here. So
yeah, but what my point is we're gonna, what's gonna happen is we're gonna have to get a starting quarterback for a backup,
right.
And we're gonna have to pay him big bucks to come here to play a backup role and hope that Tua doesn't get hurt. And we know he is going to get hurt if he is brought back.
Yeah.
I know this is all speculation right now, but that's just one scenario. Okay. Skylar Thompson. Okay. Maybe we bring him back. Okay. And honestly, I think Skylar Thompson would make a good backup, but he has to be prepared. That's where our coach is deficient at. He doesn't.
But in all fairness, it's hard to get a backup because you only get so many reps during practice, and that's why. And we've had bad luck because like the one game Skylar started, he was looking okay because he had the whole week. Then he got injured, and Teddy had to come in that game against the Minnesota Vikings with no reps because he had just come out a concussion protocol. And then in the game against the Jets up there, Teddy had prepared all week as a starter, and then the NFL decided they saw him stumble or whatever terminology they want to use, yanked him from the game, and Skylar got thrown in there. Yes, maybe, but I think throughout history, normally your backups don't get enough repetitions during the week because you game plan all week with your starter and want him to get as many reps.
I got to push back. I got to push back on you, Rob. I got to push back on you. I disagree. Yeah, sure, they don't get enough reps, but this guy just looked completely ill-prepared.
Well, he's a 7th-round pick this year. You got to give him a little, like what I'm saying. It's just
Brock Purdy's is Mr. Irrelevant.
I know, but that's what I was saying. That's why when I said earlier that it complements their style.
How about the New England guy, Zappy? It went in there. Another guy who was a low draft pick. I'm telling you, it all boils down to coaching, man. That's the bottom line. And I'm not throwing it all on McDaniel's back because he's got Darrell Bevel there too. What is he doing? You got Frank Smith. What is he doing?
Oh, no, I know this, but it's a lot deeper than the quarterback position, the Dolphins issues.
It is. It's all around. In my opinion, my opinion about Tua. But it isn't just the quarterback position, but it's the coaching as well. I agree 100% with you on that.
But yeah, Brock Purdy, he's playing well. But they also, like you say, I would give you credit on that because they got one of the best coaches in the NFL because they keep on winning no matter what, So I give them that. So coaching does have a factor. But I also give, like I know you're with the coach overall. You want McDaniel. You're not one of these saying
I do.
You want him back next year.
I'll give him another chance. I think he'll be a good coach. Hey, look, I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. He's a rookie coach, and he's learning on the fly. Look, maybe they need to get a guy like a Bill Parcells, somebody in charge of football operations, or somebody in his ear, an assistant coach that would help him out. Okay, and we'll get to the football. Maybe someone for football of operations. We're going to talk a little bit about Grier. Okay, but first I want to talk a little bit about Josh Boyer. In your opinion, do you think even if we win this game this week, which you know what, this season has been a big disappointment to me, and I don't care what anybody says to me, you just don't call me late for dinner. I don't care what they call me, but now I lost my train of thought.
Yeah, you talked about dinner and you forgot.
Yeah, I'm sorry, guys.
I have no clue where you were going.
I've been traveling 26 hours on the road, man. I'm tired, but the bottom line is on Josh Boyer. In your opinion, do you think that whether we? Oh, I know what I was going to say. Do you think whether we win and beat the Jets this week and we make it to the playoffs, and let's say we lose in the playoffs, because I think that's the scenario whether we win or not.
Right.
Do you think we keep Josh Boyer?
That's a tough one because I think someone will be this, especially if we don't make the playoffs and we lose to the Jets, someone's going to be the scapegoat. It's just every year someone's going to have to take the sacrifice, and it may be Josh Boyer or Danny Crossman, the special teams coach, or both of them might be out of there. So if McDaniel survives and Grier survives, I think they will make a sacrifice of one of those guys if we end up completing this collapse and don't make the playoffs. That's just me. I don't have this like you. You don't have any inside information. None of us do. But my speculation is that they're going to have a scapegoat and someone's going to take the axe, and it would probably be a Josh Boyer or a Crossman from the special teams. And, Jason Sanders is probably going to be out of here. So,
for sure.
There's going to be a few scapegoats that are going to get cut right away probably, but we'll see.
But but the one that we really need out of this organization, he's not going anywhere. And that's Chris Grier. I don't think he's going anywhere. He's too much tied to the hip of Stephen Ross. But let me just give you a little information on what's his name, Chris Grier here. Okay, Chris Grier was put in charge of the draft in 2016.
Right.
Okay, and during that time period, he has picked 51 players in the draft. 3 out of the 51 players are playing on this team right now, and that's Javon Holland, Jalen Phillips, and Jalen Waddle. That's it. And to be honest with you, Holland had a down year. He didn't have a great year this year. Who
was on your list? I'm sorry, I missed. Who was their first name on your list?
Javon Holland.
Okay.
Then Jalen Phillips and Jalen Waddle.
Okay,
that's it. Out of 51 players since 2016. And you know what his record is? 55.
Yeah, I know. I looked up them.
55 and 58.
You don't have Kristen Wilkins. Wasn't Kristen Wilkins one of his guys? So that's what I'm saying.
All right. Maybe Kristen Wilkins. I'll give him.
So, there are some
Wilkins, and even Kristen Wilkins is not elite. He's a good tackle.
Well, he's one. To me, he's a very. But anyway, that's another debate we can do. I like me some Kristen Wilkins.
I do too.
Yes, funny thing is, I'm not, as everyone knows, I'm not the biggest Chris Grier fan. But when you look at it, because we all hated Jeff Ireland. But when you look at their career records, as far as they're very similar, I'm like, man, they're basically both 500 as their stint. I know people don't put general manager records like they do coaching records, but if you go to Pro Football Reference and you put Chris Greer and you put Ireland, they're almost identical that the team's record under their control. So it's like, as much as we hated Jeff Ireland, we haven't done anything better with Chris Greer. It's crazy, and we all.
No, he did. Dolphin Rob said he didn't draft Wilkins.
I think it was him, and that was Flores' first year as head coach.
Yeah, I think he did though.
I think he did draft him. That was
He drafted him.
He did. Yeah. He did draft him. Now, Mike Gesicki, Cliff brought up Mike Gesicki. Okay, he was good in the first 3 years, but what is he doing now?
No, I think he inherited. See, that's why I say some of these people, I think he inherited Gesicki. So it just all depends when you say that Greer started really as picking, because he's been in that position, but some people are saying when Tannenbaum was still here, he wasn't making the picks and all that. So it really, when he started pulling the trigger, having final say is what the dispute among Greer is, because he's been with the organization forever.
I hear you, Dolphin Bob. Sorry, he said he meant to say he didn't draft Wilkins. So anyway, but look, Greer has got to go. Greer has got to go. This organization is, you know what the definition of insanity is? The Miami Dolphins football team. That's the definition. We do the same thing.
Someone sent me that. You must have got someone must have sent you the same mess. Someone sent me that.
No. This is my own opinion, because look. The quarterback does the same thing, except for this. I'll give him the exception to this game and the Cleveland game. He does the same thing over and over and over. Same plays with Tua. Right. You got Josh Boyer, who can't stop the doggone cover zero to save his life. He does the same thing over and over and over again. Okay. We lose the big games in December over and over again and don't make the playoffs. So that's the definition of insanity. And I'm just tired of being the battered Dolphin fan. That I have the battered Dolphin fan syndrome, because I'm always hoping for this team. They're always giving me this false hope. They're always telling me, like this year with the check your pulse and all this kind of crap, all this good marketing and everything, make it look pretty, paint Tua this pretty picture, all this kind of stuff. And not just Tua. I'm just using his example.
I know.
Maybe a bad example, but anyway, hyping all the team up and everything. And then guess what? I get smashed in the mouth again, and I don't know how to divorce myself from this football team, because I've been a fan since 1950.
Oh, no, I'm with you. I'm a fan.
Since 1969.
No, I am. I'm always rolling with the Dolphins. I got my own website that's on, Homer for the Dolphins, basically, so believe me, I'm the same way. I roll, but they can get us upset. That's why I never get mad when I see people. The only thing I would get mad at a Dolphin fan if they tell me, I don't want them to make the playoffs. But other than that, I don't tell anyone how to fan. If they don't like Tua, that's fine. If they don't like, Boyer, that's fine. If they don't like Greer, that's fine, because we all fan different and whatever. And I don't like Greer either.
I agree.
But if someone loves Greer, telling me how great Greer is, I'm not going to say, you're an idiot. I agree. The only thing I say, you got to root for the Dolphins to get into the playoffs. And I don't care if you think they're going to get killed 52-0 if they match up against Kansas City. At least you get that one extra week that we get to talk about the Dolphins. Hell, for all the people that love to complain, one more game to bitch about if they go and get, they lose. So at least have them make the playoffs. Have them beat the Jets, get a little luck, have the Patriots lose this week. And, I want to get to the playoffs. So I hope we can all agree on that at least, because I've seen some people on Twitter, I'd rather not make the playoffs just to end my misery now. But no, I'd rather get to the playoffs. Even if it's another week of complaining about them losing some important game, I want to make the playoffs. That's the only way I would tell someone how to fan. Other than that, you can love Greer, you can hate Greer, you can love Tua, you can hate Tua, as long as you're respectful and don't cut them down as humans, but cut down the performance on the football field or in the football office. That's all fair game is how I look at it as a fan. So I'm with you. Believe me, it stinks. And my son's 20-something, 20 years old. He just turned in November. And how many playoff games have the Dolphins won in his whole year? It's on that 0 playoff wins on this whole time on earth. So that's insane. So yes, I know how it feels to be a Dolphin fan. It stinks.
Yeah. Well said. I totally agree with you. I just have a different perspective. Honestly, this year to me, as an organization, as a football team, this team has been a failure. We have got more questions going into this game, and even at the end of the year, than we have last year.
Oh, I agree. And unfortunately, after 3 years of Tua, he's still a question mark. And it's not because of ability, not it's his availability. So no matter what you question his game or not, the one thing you can't deny is his lack of availability. Every season he's missed injured time. So do you really want to roll forward? I see putting the 5th-year option on him, but outside of that, you don't want to give him the big money yet until he proves you can stay healthy. Because every time you go to try to see, oh, he's making progress, he's hurt, then he takes a step back, and it stinks. And then so it's just because unfortunately the Chargers, they know the Cincinnati Bengals from that same year, they both know they're set at quarterback, not naming any names, but they know they're both set at quarterback. We don't, because of availability.
Again, questions.
Yeah.
And I don't know, man. I look. A good thing I'm not a paying Miami Dolphins season ticket holder, because I would be boycotting the Miami Dolphins again. Okay, they don't deserve those fans in the seats. They have let us down so much. And I would suggest that we boycott the Miami Dolphins until they get a good product on this field. And they get a good product on the field.
Oh,
boycott the Miami Dolphins.
Yeah, that's what you say. But here you were just saying that you want your off-season show to go on in the off-season talking about what? The Miami Dolphins. So you're not going to boycott, my friend. And I'm not going to boycott. So we can talk about boycott.
I'm the battered Dolphin. I've got the battered Dolphin fan syndrome.
But we're lying, and you say we should.
Of course.
I do believe, though, because this year was the first year ever that season tickets for the Miami Dolphins sold out. And I guarantee you there's going to be a drop back this year, because a lot of that was due to the sexiness. Oh, we got Tyreek Hill. We got this new coach that's saying check your pulse. They got all fired up. And we got an offensive lineman, and all that. We got Armstead. So everyone got fired up. But now a lot of those fair weather fans, I think, will pull out again.
And
they're
that's
like,
another
I'm
good
not
point.
going here.
You brought up a good point. You're right. We got all these guys. We got Bradley Chubb, and it's public record. Any Dolphin fan can look up his injury history. He's got a list of injuries. Yep. Okay. Tua, a list of injuries. Teddy Bridgewater, a list of injuries. And there's other players on this team. And I bet you do the research on some of the other players that he has stolen from other teams. I bet you they got a laundry list of injuries as well.
That's where where he always thinks, oh, he would come here and stay healthy, but it doesn't ever work out. They just and I don't know. There's a debate. Is there such thing as injury prone?
Hey, can you bring that last chat up? The second one after this, I believe it is.
Who said it? Do you know?
I remember. Let me see.
What was it about?
G-Man the Dolphin. There it is. He said, I'm starting to think McDaniel isn't a head coach. And you know what, G-Man the Dolphin, you've got a great point there. You might be right. He might not be a good head coach. He may not be a coach, because a good head coach delegates his responsibility to his other coaches and holds them accountable. And that's a good point. He doesn't hold. That was another point I was going to make. He doesn't hold his, at least what I see, what the fans' perspective or what I see, he doesn't hold his coaches accountable, because if he did, they wouldn't be playing the way they do, and they wouldn't be acting and clowning around with the lack of discipline that they have. I mean, that speaks louder than words right there, man.
Yeah. But the fact of the matter is, unless Ross has someone in hand that he already knows secret behind the deal, like a Sean Payton or, Jim Harbaugh. It's not going to be Jim Harbaugh. He's not coming out of Michigan. But, like some big name that he has secret, there's no reason to start over again, because there's no one that you're going to probably just end up doing the same thing over again, bring another first-year head coach, unless you have some secret magic guy already. We already broke tampering rules, so you might as well have gone with Sean Payton. We got nailed for like we did. You might as well have just gone for him at that point.
Bob,
let's not go for him so we don't get nailed. But you got nailed the first-round draft pick anyway.
Rob, nothing would surprise me with this organization.
So that's what I'm saying. But if they fired him and go with another rookie coach, I'm not going to be like you, because I'd be lying out of my mouth saying, I won't watch him anymore. I'd be the first one waiting. Is it preseason yet? Are they at camp yet? So I'd be the first one, but I would be shocked if they fired Daniel and go with another rookie head coach. That would definitely be the definition of insanity. But if he has someone in the back pocket secretly sealed away, if we read at the end of on Black Monday, if we're eliminated and we're not in the playoffs and that McDaniel gets canned, I would think that Ross is smarter and not, we're just going to find someone. He better have someone that he already knows that hush, here's your money. And, you can be flying around on my private jet in the meantime.
I agree.
And, whatever. So I don't think he's going to go unless we really do the whole collapse. And I don't even think he goes then.
I agree, Gerald.
That's one of those names.
I agree with Gerald. Being a Dolphin fan makes you bulletproof.
No, it's rough, man.
It is.
And sometimes our own fans turn on each other, which I hate. But we need to stick together for the most part. We can have disagreements, but sometimes people, it's like the two anon and the two haters. Those are the craziest. Me, I miss a guy that wears, no matter who plays for my team, I root for whoever's on my team. So.
I agree, and I agree with Cap too. I agree with Cap for life. If they do keep Tua, they're going to have to get a guy like an Andy Dalton, a Baker Mayfield. I'm not saying they're going to get those guys. I'm just saying an example. That's the kind of a type of backup they're going to have to get. Someone that can come in there and take over and win, like a Ryan Fitzpatrick, win 4 or 5 games for you. Because let me tell you something, man. I'll say this right now with a straight face. And then you check back with me next year at this time. I guarantee you, Tua, if he stays with this team, okay, he will miss 3 or 4 games again next year.
Well, you need to bring in legitimate competition for him, not just someone that can actually push him into training camp and say, let the best man win the job in training camp. And yes, someone said if Sean Payton wants the job here, get rid of that. I agree with. If that was like something he knew that McDaniel, knowing the Dolphins luck though, Peyton would say that, but we cannot have anything in writing because it would be tampering all over again and breaking Rooney Rule. So then Peyton would change his mind when a better job comes open and we already fired McDaniel. So he better damn well know that he's taking the damn job.
If Peyton gets here, I guarantee you Chris Greer won't be around because Peyton won't take this job with Chris Greer as a general manager. And he's the only guy that could pick his own general manager.
Right. No, I agree.
Yeah. And I think we should, and I made this point earlier, we should have a president of football operations like a Bill Parcells. I think that would be a great asset in addition to this team. I think we need somebody like that. Somebody gives you check and balances on your GM.
Yeah, but would you give him final say over Chris Greer? Because then it would look like a demotion to Chris Greer, and then you would have to go.
No. I'm saying if Chris Greer wasn't our general manager,
like if he's gone, of course you're going to need someone. You're going to need someone. Right. So, but like I said, there's so many things that you could point blame on. You could point blame on players, coaching, general managers, all the way up to the owner if you wanted to point blame. And I happen to think Ross tries. He just picks the wrong people.
I agree. I think the problem with Ross is he pulls his wallet out and he takes the money out and he says, "Here, Chris, I'm giving you $305 million to spend on Bradley Chubb, Tyreek Hill, and the other guy we got.
Right.
Here you go. Go get him." And Chris Greer goes, "Oh, boy.
Right, exactly.
Let's see who I can get."
That's the one thing with Ross. He went and got Dominic Sue back in the day when we had Tannenbaum, I call him. Because, but then all these guys.
I like Tan. Oh, you mean the general manager?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought you were talking to Tannehill. I like Tannehill. I was on that Tannehill train, and I got sucked into him too.
Yeah, I know. But Tannenbaum went and got Dominic Sue and Dolph. Like I say, if there was trophies, like you could give a trophy, whatever, I wish I had a trophy to grab it. If we had a trophy for off-season winner, the Dolphins we would have multiple championships, if you were like off-season champion. But it's just, unfortunately, there's no trophy for off-season champions. So we all get pumped up during the off-season. They hook us back in. We come back wanting more, and then they break our hearts towards the end of the season again, and we do the same thing over and over.
The definition of insanity is the Miami Dolphins football team.
Yeah, and fans, man. The fans were insane because everybody in this room will be back.
We're still back.
All be back.
We'll throw back going like this with the Miami Dolphins. We're getting all hype again. We're going to be talking about they got this guy, that guy. He's the next best guy to slice bread, blah, blah, blah. And then boom.
I got video proof of you being super the minute we found out about the Chubb trade.
I was elated. I thought we were Super Bowl bound.
And Dolphin, I know.
Oh, yeah.
But I've said plenty of crazy stuff. I was like slow my roll on the Chubb thing.
I'm not immune to it. I get sucked in just like the rest of the fans.
We all do. The minute we got typed, I would never forget because I had been up in Gainesville and I was coming back down, and because my one son goes to UF and my younger son was in the back seat while I'm driving, and he starts telling, I told the wife, you got to drive, because he started telling me, the Dolphins are rumored to get Tyreek Hill. I'm like, yeah, but just as all in minutes, like almost real time, like the show 24. Then a few minutes later, and it's only between the Dolphins and the Jets to get Tyreek Hill. I go, he's going to be going to New York. There's going to be endorsement. Then he tells me, Dad, Dolphins got Tyreek Hill. I mean, I'm talking about by the time I'm on the exit on I-75 leaving games, all this happened. So I pull up to the next, we have lunch, and I have my wife drive something so I could be reading. And I was saying, Dolphins. But here we are. And I mean, as great as he's been this year, it's proved he was a great addition. But what are we? We're at the same damn record we were last year. So it's just crazy. It's just crazy.
I'm gonna leave you with this. I'm gonna leave everybody with this. We're a quarterback away.
Yeah, consistent quarterback away.
Consistent quarterback away, non-injury prone quarterback. We're a quarterback away. That's my opinion. That's my opinion, and I'm going to stick to it.
But then in the same breath, though, you can't say Josh Boyer needs to go, because then you're blaming the defense some too. So you're more than a quarterback away.
Yeah, no, you know what? The defense actually took a dive this year, right?
Right, they're not. So they're more than just a quarterback away, unless you bring in an elite quarterback.
The defense was carrying Tua last year.
Right, but this year the defense was a disappointment. So I think unless you have a Patrick Mahomes or someone like that running our team, then I agree with you. Then we're all almost
fair enough. Good point. Yeah.
Almost any team in the NFL is a franchise quarterback away from being competitive, but they don't grow on trees, as the Miami Dolphins can attest, because I'm 53 and I still got to talk about the Dan Marino years, because it's all the only joy I had really is being a Dolphin fan. That's way too long. That's crazy. So it's like, they don't grow on trees. So unfortunately, we cannot find a franchise quarterback, and we've had our opportunities.
We've had over. I think I've counted on the show one time. We had and I listed them. I think we had over 24. Yeah,
because I know Russell Wilson's not doing well this year, but the year we took Tannehill, Russell Wilson went in the third round. Kirk Cousins went in the third round. I think Tannehill's on par with Kirk Cousins, but Russell Wilson got all the way to a Super Bowl and MVP conversations and all that. So it just shows that we just missed. And Jeff Ireland said, well, I like Russell Wilson, but we didn't like his size. So, that's the whole reason, we went with Tannehill, a guy that had played mainly receiver in college until his last couple of years and got switched. But I know, and I bought into the Tannehill hype. Don't worry, I'm not going to be a phony.
I did too. I like Tannehill. He's from Texas. I'm living in Houston, Texas, and I like Tannehill. And I thought he, I don't know. Look what he did in Tennessee after he left us. So, you never know. I still think we're a quarterback away, but anyway, that's here nor there.
Oh no, you're right, Gerald. Everyone's saying there's same things all over the league. Like we're a quarterback away. So it's just, but hopefully, Miami gets it right eventually. But I'm going to be less. I will admit I'm not going to buy into the offseason hype, but I'm never going to say I'm not going to watch. I'm going to be waiting for every minute. But I don't care if we go out and get, like you say in a dream world, you get Sean Payton, you get Tom Brady, whoever, Aaron Rodgers. I still not going to buy into the hype until I actually see a damn playoff win, because every year I buy into the hype.
I agree.
So, and I don't think any of those things are going to happen. I'm just saying, just in some dream scenario that all this happens, So anyway,
I agree. But even with that said, what I said about McDaniel and everything, I still like to I'd give the guy another chance. I'd like to see him here again next year. I really would. I think he could do good, but I think he should stick to what he knows best. And he was never a quarterback coach. He was a running backs coach. Right. I think we're giving Mike McDaniel too much credit for Tua. He has devised the offense and the system for him, but Darrell Bevell, I think you give him credit for the development of Tua, because he did have some, and I said it, he had some elite games. I didn't say he was elite. I said he was playing at an elite level.
He had some very good games. It's just enough.
He really did.
Like, Tua is a perfect definition of a Miami Dolphin. He always gives you enough to tease you to think greatness is coming. It's just like the whole Dolphins organization.
He does enough to win, but not enough to win the playoffs or get you in the playoffs.
And he just hasn't stayed healthy. That's the bottom line. And
that's the bottom line too. The bottom line is I pray that for his health, and he gets well soon, because concussions are a pretty serious thing. Hey, look, I've had 4 concussions in my life. I've had 4 myself. I had I had 2 that were pretty severe, and then the other 2 were I was out like 20, 30 seconds type of thing.
Right. So,
but anyway,
I mean, it's very sad because of all the people. Because now I'm a grown dude. I don't like put the players, like when I was a kid, I put like AJ Dewey and Mark Clayton and all these guys on a pedestal. Like there's now a grown man. I just like the aqua and orange, so whoever. But of all that said, Tua's the one guy that kind of throws me back to my child, and I root for him above all else, just because he seems like such a nice guy, and I want him to prove all.
He is a nice guy.
I really want to prove them wrong. Oh yes, guys, like, subscribe. Make sure you hit that subscribe button for this great network that's always all times Dolphins. They got Miami Heat stuff. They got wrestling stuff. They got all kind of general sports stuff. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. But anyway, so all that said, Tua kind of reminds me, I would love to see this young man succeed. But unfortunately, the proof's in the pudding, and he gets hurt too much. And you just can't count on that, So that's why I say I'm not going to get in a debate whether he's good enough when he's in there or when he's not in there.
Right.
The one thing you cannot debate is his availability. And he's missed time in every season. And here we are fighting for our skin and tooth in critical time, and he's not in there. And yes, concussions can happen to anyone, but unfortunately they happened to our guy a couple of times this year, and it's been hurting our team chances to win.
Two officially, and then 1 is questionable. And look, you and I are not doctors, so we know that. And the doctors cleared him, but it looked to me like it was a concussion, and we don't know, but officially he had 2 concussions. You're right. So
anyway. Officially 2, probably 3, but 2 for sure.
For sure.
And then that's just not being available, unfortunately. And like I say, I hope the young man goes on and has a great career, or goes on and has a great life, but we can't depend on the career part because he's not there. And we need someone that's going to be there and be dependable, Yeah.
Good point.
And the bad thing is, if we bring a new quarterback in next year, because we've been blessed in some areas. I hate to knock on wood, but I'm knocking on wood, because Waddle and Hill, for the most part, they've had their bumps and bruises, but they've been able to play. So next year, that's no guarantee that they're going to play all 17 games. So we've been very fortunate this year, and we didn't take advantage having those 2 elite receivers staying healthy all year for us. And we didn't take advantage of it because
we had Armstead. Armstead was fighting through injuries all year. He's had 5-6 different injuries.
I know, but see, that's another signing that we love, because we needed an offensive tackle, and you're backed into a wall and needing him. But the minute you signed him, that's the only reason we were able to get him, and it wasn't a huge fight, because he's never played a full season in the NFL career. He's a tough SOB because he goes out there and plays injured.
Yeah,
he also I
couldn't do that, man. I sprained my ankle and I'm down for 2-3 weeks.
Yeah,
So he's a tough guy. Tough guy.
Kudos to him. It is, man, and all you guys, man. Gerald, Master Sergeant, and I know Vito was in here earlier, and Cap was in here. And all the others that I'm missing. I can't see all your guys. Bobby Finstock, of course. Ryan Malloy. I wonder why he's in here.
I wonder why.
Yeah, I know. And then Optimus Rhyme. All of you guys, you all rock, man. Just like all Dolphin fans, you're dedicated to the core. I love it. You're here when in the middle of a 5-game winning streak. So that is super.
And my son Ryan, just like my son Ryan, just like your son Rob, he wants to see it. He wants to see him win some playoffs too. Yeah, he's been a fan right along with me. He's 36.
Yeah, so he's seen 1 playoff win, maybe, or 2. That's crazy. No, it's been way too long, and that's why one thing, if you're rocking Dolphin gear at this point, no one can ever call you a bandwagon fan. So, we've been through a lot. So has the Dolphin fan base, and yes, last night taught us that it's just a game. There's bigger things in life. But from a fan perspective, we've been through, we've been through a lot, man. It's like, it's fine. This time, one egg has to fall our way, get a little lucky. We just don't get the golden egg ever as a Dolphin fan. We get the crap egg, so it's we get the rotten egg.
Okay, Rob, we gotta cut the show off here. I didn't realize we were running overtime. Bobby's working overtime.
Yeah, we did. We went Bobby. So, luckily, the bandwagon's not on tonight for us.
I'm not gonna make a prediction of the game. I'm just numb. Like Cat for Life said, he's numb. I'm numb. I'm just gonna say I hope they win the game. The rest of the season is really meaningless unless they surprise me and they beat the Jets, go to the playoff. New England loses, and we somehow crawl into the AFC Championship.
I would love to crawl into the playoffs, man. I don't care at this point. Call in, back in. It doesn't matter. I don't care. I just want to get in there. So
thanks again, Rob.
Everyone.
Thanks for joining,
guys. All you guys
out here
again
tonight, Rob.
All you guys. Later, guys. Dolphins number 1, Steve. Give one more Dolphins number 1 there, Steve.
I'm a little tired, but I'm gonna do my best. But guys, thanks again for watching tonight. Appreciate you. Love you all. Let's keep. We still got hope, so we'll see. But anyway, with that said, Dolphins number 1, baby.
Fins
Dolphins number 1.
Fins up, guys. Thank you.